Should we defund the police?
No.
You should have voted me off in the last round.
What do you mean?
No.
What do you mean by defund the police? Because the first question
Like
about
completely eliminate.
what do you mean?
This is the first fucking problem that you've got, right? The defund the police is one of the worst political slogans of all time because it requires like another 5 fucking paragraphs about how you really don't mean defund the police and you mean just put some money from here to here. It's fucking so stupid. Like, not even the people chanting defund the police even really know whether or not they want to defund the fucking police.
Some of them do. Some of them do are actually in favor of abolishing the police. I know.
Yeah,
Joe
I know.
Biden-
Some are and a lot aren't. It's fucking madness. Like, they don't even agree on what their slogan means.
It's not the best optics.
No.
It's terrible for Democrats, which is why I guess I love the topic because it makes leftists and Democrats just look insane.
Well, not necessarily, right? Like, look. So, if you look at the people who actually do want to abolish police in their entirety, I agree. I think that's complete naive bullshit.
Right.
We'd have to live in a
ACAB people. Ugh.
We'd have to live in a utopia. We clearly don't. Very often, the people I've seen making that argument, even at the protests that they're at currently, they will call the police to like have people removed, showing that on some level they do understand there is a need for an authoritative element within society that you can rely on to stop potential violent elements or negative elements having disparate power over you.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I think Jazz was a pretty utopian view of like what a
right there. That shows that even if you abolish the police, you just get new police in their stead. Instead, it's just some unaccountable guy and his friends who claim their mantle as the police, but still, authority fills the back.
Our need for some form of policing, no matter what you call it, is not going to magically go away.
Exactly.
No matter how much we say ACAB or how much we say abolish the police. This is a fundamental disagreement that I think I have with people, I guess people who misunderstand my position. My position isn't simply to say, I mean, I will say ACAB and I can describe it further if you guys would like, but that's a totally separate tangent. But when it comes to defunding the police, I don't really care about the optics as far as I care more about making sure that people understand what it means. Defunding the police means that we need to roll back the massive amount of spending that we have given to precincts all across the nation since the 60s by calling it community policing or any number of different reasons with very little accountability while changing legislation so that cops can pretty much get away with murder extrajudiciously as long as they can state that they were in a reasonable fear for their lives or had a reasonable fear that this person that they were following was a threat to other people's safety. We have a lot of stupid rules that allow police...
Wait, don't you hate cops no matter what?
No, I don't hate cops no matter what. I think that police officers can be good people outside of being a police officer, but
as soon as they put the badge on, they're a fucking dickhead. Is that what you're saying?
But when they have the badge on and they have to enforce all laws, even really shitty laws, then yes, they have to be bad. They have to be bad. You can start and you can join the police force with honorable intentions to protect and serve.
Wild take.
That's definitely different than ICE, for example. But if you are,
I want to hear a rebuttal from Sushi.
When you are upholding all laws, including unjust laws, yes, of course, you are doing something that's bad. Now, that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be no fucking policing force. I'm not advocating for that at all. All right?
Okay,
I hope that's clear what my position is on that. But defunding the police is a good idea overall, and we need to
Hassan,
refund.
I want to hear from Sushi.
Safety nets.
Personally, I actually think that we need to increase funding for police because, like, there's actually like people like say they want to like reallocate some funding from the police and then create like a social worker type thing to like for mental health issues and things of that nature. I actually think that we should just add more funding to the police force so we can accommodate for that. But the thing is, you need to understand first responders on like the medical field, whether it's mental health or physical health, whatever, they actually have to, no matter what, have to wait for a police response just in case to also do something called C and safety. So I would actually just increase the funding for police, allow for these like social workers, the things that people actually usually want when they don't want to abolish the police wholeheartedly, and basically have it so, you know, if they go on scene for a mental health case, we have a police officer with them in tandem. On top of that, the fact that you think that cops are inherently bad because they have to enforce laws that you may or may not agree with is kind of fucking asinine, right? Like, why don't you just like elect people who are gonna systematically go after those laws and try to repeal them, right? But on top of that, like, there's also like things like officers, and you see it quite often, like when a governor enacts something that a sheriff personally believes goes against the Constitution, they don't enforce those laws. So like, I don't know, dude. Like,
he's making a systemic. He's making a systemic argument, presumably, right?
Shoulder to shoulder with law,
like Hasan, I think, is saying that all cops are bad in the sense that they are. The system requires that they act at least some of the time in ways which we would agree are bad. Is that your point?
Yeah.
Now, I think that is another example of messaging that is bad, but I mean, I get that point. I guess the thing that gets me though, Sushi, is, and the problem with this kind of messaging is it seems to make it very difficult to discuss the issues that are bad about the police. Like, for example, I did a video about police unions and how police unions basically they help make all cops bad in some degree, in a systemic type argument, right? Because they make it so that some of the problems Hasan mentioned, for example, not all of them are enmeshed in law, but at least some of them are. Some of them are enmeshed in police contracts, police union contracts that are negotiated by unions, and they make it so that it's very difficult to fire police officers who commit crimes or break the law or whatever.
If you want to talk about reform of police unions, I'm right there with you.
Melina, go
ahead. Well, like Duke Law did research where they found that 90% of officers are good, but the 10 that are bad, they can't get rid of. They cause 90% of the problem.
Facts, and I have no issue with us like attacking police unions.
Melina, go ahead.
So it's not just the unions though. Like the Garner and numerous other decisions have like.
Isn't there a clip? Isn't there a clip of like kind of like no matter what, like if you're a cop?
Oh my God, Melina, really? You're getting fucking DGG clips from a conversation that I had with your fiance? Like, I thought we weren't gonna do this, but if you wanna have this conversation over and over again, yes.
Well, I guess Destiny wasn't
boyfriend. Even in that conversation with your boyfriend, who I guess I'm arguing against, considering that
I think you're too scared to have him here. Isn't that like the whole thing why you're never on the same shows anymore?
I don't know. I think it might be bad if somebody calls black people Uncle Tons on the show is a good idea.
Anyway,
so if I can that's what.
No, I'm saying Destiny directly called me.
If I can steer us away from this awkwardness for a second, basically, I think the problem you've got overall is kind of like been identified by Bastian. It's like the argumentation becomes ridiculous when if the central premise to your argument is that some laws are bad, therefore, and police have to enforce them as part of their job, therefore all police are bad, all cops are bastards, whatever. It's really like, it's childlike thinking. It's not very nuanced, and there's obviously a lot more to it. I've never been. I'll finish. I've never been on board with this idea that all cops are bastards. Even as someone that, like, on my podcast, I regularly talk about police brutality, how out of control it is, the way the militarization of the police in America has got to a point where citizens are actually like, just being shot for like low-level offenses that probably didn't even need police intervention in the first place. This is a big problem. But when we talk about defund the police, you absolutely, Basti hit the nail on the head here. You start with the unions. The unions have to protect members. That's how a union works. So it's the unions that basically empower bad police. It's the unions who say, we will protect your job no matter what. You've got to take their money away. They're the people that are making the legal arguments, giving you the free, high-powered lawyers. Like, look at the guy that kneeled on George Floyd. He had something like 14 separate brutality complaints prior to that. Why does that motherfucker still have a badge? Police unions. So you take their money away. And the other thing, I'll just finish, and then I'll let you guys in. The other thing, the qualified immunity law, you have got to get rid of that. This is a law that is being abused to protect police who are negligent or incapable of doing their jobs. It was never intended. It was never intended for that role. So
what conservative have you found that actually agrees with these things? Like we all think
qualified
police
immunity.
Right?
I'm not arguing on. I'm not arguing on the basis of this being being a conservative and liberal issue.
Okay,
I'm saying defund the
No.
police as a concept. If you really mean abolish the police and defund police and think all police are bad, that's a very asinine, childish position.
Yeah.
But you cannot say that reform absolutely has to happen. I mean, why are we relying on a guy who makes less than like a fucking Walmart security guard and has like 6 weeks of basic training or something dumb to respond to someone who is having a mentally ill episode, and all they know is if they run at you and you feel threatened, it's okay to shoot them in the head. That is that, you know, we're asking unqualified people in the police to do these ridiculous jobs they're not fit to do. They're barely fit to stand outside of a building and like dictate who can walk in or not. These are not high functioning, high thinking intellectuals. It's a menial job. It's a menial job. So we need more training, right? We need more training.
But
right?
you know, it's interesting to say that, because as much as I don't want to make it incredibly partisan, but there is one partisan point that comes up with this, which is, well, all this stuff happens in the Democrat cities, so you know, that's the problem. When in fact the problem is that 85% of America's cities have police unions with police union contracts that give them something approaching meaningful immunity from not only being prosecuted but being fired. And again, that study I mentioned found that people like the officer who killed George Floyd are kept around, even though most cops don't have nearly as many use of force complaints. Those who have lots of use of force complaints are nevertheless maintained because of these unions that protect them. And more than that, these unions give them bad training. In Minneapolis, the mayor had this program, tried to reject a training program called Killology that said that officers should not be afraid of using force, but the police union forced them on it anyway.
So my view on this, Bastien, just to sum it up, and I'm definitely not talk again on this issue, is that you train incompetence. So if somebody is bad at their job because they don't have sufficient training, you either don't assign them to those roles, or if that's unavoidable, you must take them off the street and train them again. You will require money to do that, but that undoubtedly makes society a better place.
Last
point, Hassan. But if you are doing police brutality and breaking the law as a police officer when you should be held to a higher standard as a citizen, you should be in fucking prison, and there should be no debate about this. And again, it goes down these party lines of right and left. So you can make the world a better place by taking incompetent police and training them. That requires money, but you have to get rid of the unions and defund that aspect of the police if you want to get rid of the people who systemically brutalize the citizenry.
Okay, we have issues with the unions, but like I need to talk about the fact that you're talking about training. No, he's talking about training, but it's not. He doesn't understand like fundamentally like how long they actually have to train and what they have, like what their background is, right? First of all, you actually need, like, at least, I don't know about anywhere else, but in West Virginia, right, in my county with the officers that I work with, you need to have at least a bachelor's degree, and you need to have 28 weeks of training in the police academy. Then, before you're even allowed to be alone, you need like another 28 weeks of training alongside a superior officer. And then on top of that, you have bi-monthly training as well, and then elective training that you can do on your own time that you get paid for. So there's actually quite more training than most people think.
Can I just call something out for?
Okay.
Yeah. So isn't it a little bit?
Gee, Melina,
Isn't it?
before you fucking try to do another like drama baited DGG back line, can we just have a
no.
conversation?
Honestly, I am really. No. Wait.
Just briefly, and then we can move on.
Honestly,
I want to
honestly,
see
please
something.
don't destroy.
Because
I think this is very important because I don't really like if you say that all of my opinions are my boyfriend's. That feels a bit sexist, honestly. When it comes from you, it feels kind of crazy. Yeah, but like if I had like, do you not think that I have my own fucking opinions? Or
I do know that you have your own fucking opinions, but right now you're just trying to drama bait by getting literal lines from DGG. You think that we don't have an overlap of audiences? You think
no,
that
I remember. Of course, I remember that. I remember what you said, and it got me confused. I remember what you said in that clip, and it got me confused.
All right, let's get back to the to the topic.
Let's have if I put a fucking opinion out there and you disagree with it, then you can own me in the marketplace of ideas.
I just question you. I'm sorry that you got so upset about it.
Yeah, because this is
male feminists are always one you got to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, I'm not a male feminist. Okay, this is completely unfucking productive.
Let's move into the discussion.
I mean, I just didn't really like that you said that.
Hasan, I think less of Melina now. Wait, did he actually type that somewhere? Oh my god. Wait, is this another log site? Wait, this shit is funny as fuck. Is chat actually simping for Bastia? If you vote me out, I will not stream after. I don't care for the drama meme, to be honest. Damn. Bastia is not as interested in drama as Melina is, because Melina is like my fiance. The only thing she's possibly interested in is simping for me. Holy shit. Bastia is 100% the Destiny clone. Damn, dude. Do you think he like... am I like the Agent Smith and his... Wait, read the one above that? Wait, read what? Even though the reality isn't Melina as a female is easier to defeat. Damn.
Torture your cock and balls must endure. 2 spaces forward, your cock will be stretched.